Are you networking with reps, getting on all these calls with them to give you the same advice of just keep networking, reaching out, and it's impossible to break in at over $100,000? In this video, I'm gonna go over why that's all wrong. Over the last 2 weeks, I've literally helped 8 people get in at over 6 figures in medical device sales. Welcome back to New to Medical Device Sales. I am your host, Jacob McLaughlin. My friends, I'm so pumped to be coming to you all today. In the last 2 weeks, we've literally got 10 people hired in medical device sales, and 8 of those 10 people got hired at over $100,000. Many people think of this myth of it's impossible to break into medical device sales, but every single week, every single day, we debunk this, showing proof, and then all we do is continue to give you the proof. And what happens is most people just don't have the confidence to believe that they could do it. But that's what this episode is hopefully going to be helpful for you all. You can actually have the confidence after this podcast that you can go get in at over 6 figures in medical device sales. To start it off, I want you guys to think about this is when we get people hired at over $100,000, out of those 10 people, 8 of them got in. 2 of them were very close to the $100,000 mark, but why we let them still take those jobs is because for them, it was still more money than they were currently making. If someone's making only $60,000, but then they're with us and they get the opportunity to go make $85,000, and I always ask them the checklist that we kind of give our people, because again, just because you can go make more money in medical device sales doesn't mean it's always going to be the right fit. So a couple of the questions I always ask them is saying, hey, number one, how do you feel with the company? Do you feel like it's a good fit? Do you feel like you enjoy your time? Do you like the people that you spoke with at the company? If they're all in on that, then I say, hey, how does it actually impact your life? Do you feel like you make more money? You understand what to do? You love the product that you sell? If we get the yes on that, then we just talk about, does this fit for you and your family? And if we get check marks on all of the above, they're like, hey, I'm happy. It's more money than I was currently making. It's an opportunity for me to continue to grow. I truly love my team and the products that I'm going to sell. Then we're like, hey, go ahead and take that role, even though it's under $100,000, because it's a win in their book in every way. Now, again, our average person as of right now is around $105,000 coming in. But again, that's averages. Sometimes you're going to have below, and then you're going to have all the people that we talked about, with majority of those people coming in between 100 and 120,000. But we had a couple outliers of coming in at 130 and 140. Here's some of the backgrounds. A B2B sales rep, person doing door-to-door sales, actually selling lawn services, people from like a medical assistant background, nursing background, a clinical exercise physiologist, engineering world. Like there's such a vast background. And if you add all those up, majority of them don't have the sales or the clinical experience that they're looking for. And why do I say that? Because medical device sales is a funny industry where even if you have sales experience, they're going to tell you it's not the right sales experience. And here's why. You might have done personal training like myself, where I was doing B2C or business to consumer sales, not business to business, B2B. And then they'll tell me that doesn't count because you're not selling to a business, which med device sales is hospital from a company, B2B. But then I would always be like, I'm selling to doctors and I train doctors and surgeons. And then I would have to turn that around. No matter what I sold, it didn't matter. They were going to tell me that it didn't count unless I actually did medical device sales. And then the same thing with the clinicals. We've had medical assistants, people who work with surgeons, doing the clinical roles in the offices, like even physical therapists. And they'll be told, hey, that's great, but you're not actually in the OR with surgeons during surgery, so your clinical experience isn't going to be that great. Or they'll try to discount it. And so I want you all to hear, no matter what your background is, the whole goal of an interview process in med device sales is to tell you why you're not good, why it's not going to be a good fit. Let's get into how do these people come in at over 6 figures, because the one thing that's super interesting is we've even talked to people who have been in medical device sales for 1, 2, 3 years. I actually just talked to someone when I was in Dallas at the meetup. They had been in for 3 years and they might break $100,000 this year. How are we taking people with no experience starting at over $100,000 compared to the reps that we're talking to that have been in for 1 to 3 years and still maybe just are breaking $100,000? And it comes into a couple things. Number one, you have to do your research on the medical device companies and the divisions that you're looking at, because there are certain divisions that will go with a certain salary, with a certain expectation, and certain companies that only pay this much. Compared to, there's other companies and other divisions, like we know some of the very big companies that you guys all say you want to work at, but, oh, I have to go there, start at $65,000. Simply not true. Two of the roles that we have people interviewing for at one of the largest medical device companies as associates are between $100,000 and $125,000. Plus they'll get a car, plus they'll get all the gas and everything that you can dream of. And it's because they know where to look, but they also know how to stand out throughout the process. And so for you all, it comes down to doing your research, because if you just do a quick Glassdoor search, it's not really going to help you. But if you get on plenty of calls with people and have relationships and find out what's the difference between shoulders and knees and hips compared to neuromodulation, capital sales, or going into ASI, minimally invasive. Like there's so many different divisions, different products, different opportunities, and different companies' pay structures. And then one thing that nobody ever even thinks about is right now I'm working with a lot of companies that are maybe not doing $100 million in revenue. They're below that, but they're looking to grow their sales team. They could be in a Series A or a Series B funding or even below that, but they've just got money pumped into them from investors. And now they're looking to hire salespeople. They're actually trying to go for people that might have 1 to 3 years experience. So if you're a rep who already has experience, that could be great. But also my caveat that we also have conversations with is, hey, so you're looking at hiring, let's just say if they're looking for 3 reps across the nation. And I'm like, okay, so you're looking at 3 reps that you're looking at starting them with between $100,000 and $125,000 base, giving them a car, doing all of the stuff. So your whole total guaranteed that you have to give them is between $150,000 plus the OT of commission, which could be anywhere from $200,000 to $250,000. So between 3 reps, you're looking at guaranteed $450,000 plus more that they have to look at. And then again, the only way they would pay more is if you, the rep, are actually making money. I'm like, okay, so you're doing that. But what many of these companies are like, hey, I'm going to go get a rep who has experience and they have relationships. And then I'm going to go use those relationships to go sell our products and then blah, 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 blah. But what many people miss is many startups, why that actually doesn't work is because they'll go too early. They'll leverage relationships that maybe the product's not 100% where it needs to be. Then that relationship fades. And then 6 to 12 months later, sales are still stagnant because the relationships they were betting on didn't pan out because the product or whatever it wasn't ready. This is why I have conversations with them of like, hey, what about instead of going and getting 3 reps throughout the whole nation, that's going to cost you $450,000 guaranteed. How about you pay under, but maybe you get 4 to 6 reps, may take a lower salary, but they're trying to get their teeth in medical device sales, or maybe they have some experiences or whatever it is. And then they're actually just hustling, because if you give them the opportunity to make $100,000, $120,000, $150,000, that's life-changing for them compared to if you go to these reps who maybe worked at the bigger companies, already made $150,000, $200,000, $300,000, but then now it's like, well, the grass is always greener. I'm sharing this to you all to maybe open up your eyes and open up your brain how we see the world and how I talk. It's not all one way. Like even one of the conversations I'm having with a med device company, just to give you guys an idea, one of them we're hiring for is $130,000 base. That's from a clinical background that they're looking for. So that's a great opportunity. But also one of the positions we're actually hiring for is almost fully remote. So especially in the first 6 to 12 months, because they're making a transition over into the United States, they're actually looking for somebody who can actually be remote and do this job with the opportunity, once there's more accounts, to actually go be out in the field, travel, and then the opportunity to grow within a company extremely fast. And this is what many people miss. Maybe you go work at a big company and it takes you 10 years to be a manager, but maybe you can go to a smaller company and in under 24 months, you have the opportunity to be a manager if all goes well. There's no right or wrong, but this is how you have to start thinking, because when we talk about getting people in at over 6 figures, we're letting our people know those opportunities and positions exist compared to what you guys hear from everybody that you reach out to. Hey, just get in, grind, go take a job for $55,000 to $65,000, hustle, earn your stripes. I had to do it for 15 years. This is what you do. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the hustle. For us, we just decide, hey, we're going to go take a faster path. And what I want you guys to think about it, here's an analogy. I'm here in Arizona, right? And like, I want to go over to California. I could walk, I could ride a bike, I could drive a car, or I could get on a plane and instead of taking 6, 10, 12 hours, 3 days if I'm riding a bike, 2 weeks if I'm walking, I can get there in 45 minutes on a plane. And so what we just look at is there a better way? Instead of starting at med device sales at $55,000, hustling for 3 years, doing this, and then maybe in 2 to 3 years make 100, what if we just actually took the plane and got into a position or a division or an opportunity that's already paying what these people are hoping to make in 3 years. And all we did was save 3 years. Now you guys can move faster. Hence why we're helping people do this. Like literally right now, one of the kids that we just got hired, and I call him a kid because he's literally 23 years old, engineering background, literally just got him hired at over $130,000 with one of the top medical device companies in the world. And to that, I need everyone to hear this. Everyone will be like, oh, that's fake. It's impossible. It's not. No. It's possible because we literally have it. We show proof. We live it every day. We'll have them on the podcast. But what it is it's not common. And what many people do is if it's not common, they then say it's impossible. And just so you guys know, I'm putting this out with the most love. That's a victim/loser mentality. If they did it, I don't think it's possible, so it's impossible. Let me just make this easy for you all. You all can't do what Elon Musk does. I can't do what Elon Musk does. And so I could be like, oh, what he does is fake. But we clearly see the proof that it's not fake. Maybe have a little more open mindset. Maybe get away from the reps that you're talking to on the call, or maybe don't believe them when they're like, oh, it's fake. It's fake for them. It's fake for those people. Even at the meetup that I was at the other week, I'm talking to reps who've been in for 3, 5, 7 years, and they're literally telling me, oh yeah, like my OTE's 200 grand. That's amazing. It's great. And then if it's uncapped, that's where you can make way more. But then also people that have been on this podcast, we have people that their app plan is 300, right? And then they're uncapped. And so they can go it. And is that their first job in medical device sales? No. It took years to get the level and experience and being able to go provide that value to have an app plan at around 300,000. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. The reps that are telling you that are making 100, 150, their app plan's 167, will tell you that people that are making 300 app plan, it's fake, but it's not. They just might not know about it. They might not have done their research about it, and they might not just be willing to get themselves there, or they don't believe they could get there, because I will just share that is most people in life, is there are a lot of reps in medical device sales. I watch them get in and then they stay stagnant. There is nothing wrong if you just want to have a good life and do your stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. But understand, them staying stagnant, or them not doing any more research, or them not looking at any more divisions, or them not networking with other reps that are making way more, doesn't mean that it's not real and it's not possible. After helping thousands of people break into medical device sales, we've received a lot of messages of asking for more personalized coaching and mentorship. Our average member breaks in 8.5 weeks at over $105,000. And if you're really interested and really motivated to break into medical device sales, you can click the link below or check out our website at newtomedicaldevicesales.com. See all the testimonial videos of people breaking in with Medtronic at over $170,000, at Abbott $175,000 as a full line rep. So if you're really excited and also motivated and wanting personalized coaching and mentorship, then go and click the link below, schedule a call, and we'll get you where you want to go. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Now, getting into more strategics, right? We talk about this. Okay, so you're wanting to come in at over 6 figures. How do you actually do that? Well, first thing is you're not reaching out and saying, I want to pick your brain. We talk about this all the time. You've heard a lot of podcasts. It's, are you actually doing what you need to do to stand out? Have you done a little research before you reach out to them? Have you looked at their LinkedIn for 15 seconds to see where they've worked? Do you see where they went to college? Have you seen where they're from? Do you see anything on any other social media that maybe they have some write-ups about them? From there, once you get on a call, do you know anything about the company? Do you know anything about the product? Do you know anything about the territory that they're in? Do you know anything about some of the devices that they could be selling, or maybe some of the challenges they face? Do you have any connections at some of the hospitals that they're going to if you're in the clinical world? These little things and puzzle pieces is what we call them, of putting the puzzles together. And many people think that this is all luck, and it's not luck. It's preparation of looking. And then again, someone who's really good in sales is thinking 7 different ways. Everyone who struggles is like, it's one way. It has to be this way. I have a talk, this happens, I get it. But what you guys don't understand is like, you actually are going to have a conversation, but it could go this way, this way, this way, or this way. And then I'm going to be planning on 1, 2, 3, or 4 scenarios. And scenario number 5, I didn't even plan for, might happen, but am I prepared enough that I could take it in any direction? And that's the difference between you guys right now and the people who are having success at breaking in at 6 figures. Because I just had a phone call with somebody where they're like, well, I didn't even know that it was 7 interviews. And I'm like, well, yeah, and how are you supposed to win them? And they're like, yeah, I don't know. And many times you guys are trying to just figure it out, figure out what's the difference between interviews 1, 3, 5, and 7? What's the difference between how Medtronic does an interview, between Stryker, between Johnson & Johnson, between all of the other ones? They're all different. And let me just bring it back to dating, because hopefully this can help. If you're just chasing a girl that looks this way or a guy that looks this way, but you're like, oh, I'm going to try to do this if they like that, do this if they like that. Well, you're never going to win, because every single person is different, has different preferences, and has different experiences. So you trying to mold to someone else, you lose yourself in the process, number one. Number two, you'll actually never attract who you actually want, because you're trying to always be molded to someone that's that way. And lastly, someone you're probably looking for who's what looks this way, acts this way, all this stuff, isn't looking for someone who's molding to them. They look for someone who's strong, independent, or whatever it is that's being able to attract that. You all are trying to be like, well, what's Medtronic want? What's this company want? What's this company want? What do I do here? Compared to, this is who I am. This is the candidate. This is what I bring. This is the confidence I have. And this is what I offer an organization. And then I'm going to go out on dates, AKA go out on interviews, and then see what's a good fit on both parties. Because again, going back to then what happens is then many of you will be like, I'm desperate. I just need a job. Oh my gosh, whatever it is. And then any opportunity you get, you'll take it. You have to be a strong centered person and know your values, because otherwise someone who's not strong and centered and done the work or whatever won't have the values, and then it gets all knocked off. Same thing with, if a med device company just offers me this, I don't even care. Well, what happens if you go to a company that quote unquote pays you more money, but it's not ethical? What happens if you go to a company that's not ethical or doesn't have good morals, or the people around there aren't great human beings to be around? Like, I will just say this all day. I would rather make way less money and work with way better people than go somewhere that makes way more money, but you're around not good human beings or people who aren't ethical. Who do you have to become to go attract these jobs, right? Just telling you guys, doing a little bit of the research. But again, then I can also tell you, okay, so you get an opportunity of an interview. And many of the times I'll talk to people and they'll be like, well, I reached out to 3 people on LinkedIn. I'm like, well, are there only 3 reps in that division? They're like, well, no. And I'm like, well, you should have reached out to all of them. And they're like, well, that's like 60 people. And I'm like, yeah. Well, that's a lot. Well, yeah. Like, just because it seems like a lot, let me just put this and break some barriers for everyone. Most people are not where they want to be because they have fake barriers they put in their head. They have fake expectations that they came in with that aren't real. They just came in with it. And then they're like, oh, if I want to break in, I should just reach out to 5 people. No, you have to reach out to 500. Well, but that seems like a lot. Yeah, but it is a lot. That's the difference. Your expectations is what's keeping you stuck. Like I have people tell us all the time, right? Like, well, I was only expecting to pay that much. I'm like, well, that's great that you expected. But for example, Lamborghini doesn't say, oh, that's great that you were only expected to pay that, but this is the value. This is the price. Well, it seems like a lot. Okay, great. Well, you're not our customer. Good companies and all this stuff, they're not bending to what somebody who had fake expectations or read something on. That's not what they're bending to. They're like, this is our value. This is what we do. It's the same thing with med device companies. Well, you guys can be like, well, I thought I was going to make 200 grand. And they're like, well, that's great, but this is actually the job description and this is what we pay. And so I'm just saying the expectations that you all have of what you actually think, your reality is morphed, and then you have these fake expectations that you're hoping they're not real. And then this is the biggest challenge that comes in. Okay, so then you go talk to a bunch of reps. The reps tell you to go do 18 different things because you talk to 18 different people. Now you're confused. Now you're trying it. You don't have a North Star. You don't have anything you're actually chasing towards. And now you're scattered, but you're working 12 hours a day. And this is where we talk about being busy and being productive. And now you're really busy, but you're not that productive. And now you're really frustrated and you get burnt out because you've been doing this for 3 to 6 months, but you don't actually have any results compared to be like, oh, so when I get an interview opportunity, I need to do A, B, C, D. I need to prep with who I'm going to be talking to. I need to know the research of the companies. I need to know the competitors that I'm going to be up against. I need to go get champions that are going to champion me throughout the process. Like the list goes on for you to actually go and get these opportunities. Where you all need to just think about if you really want to break into medical device sales, but not only break in, but actually make 6 figures and do really well in medical device sales is what's the actual goal? What's the opportunity you want? What's the job you actually want? And what kind of candidate do you actually need to be? Because how I'm going to end it is how I end it all the time is many times I get on a call with somebody and they're like, well, it's for $70,000, $75,000. I'm like, great. Well, what if it was for $400,000? Would you show up different? And they're like, oh yeah, I'd do stuff 10 times different. And I'm like, and that's why you're not hired. Because if you just led with that in mind, you'd get the job. And then the biggest other challenge is, but I don't know how, is they're like, but I'm just going to try to go figure it out. And like, I just had a talk with somebody the other day who literally said, I would rather go try to figure it out for the next year and a half by myself and come in at half the amount of money that I could just so I could tell people that I did it on my own, compared to work with a coach or work with somebody who's done it with thousands, come in and make way more money and say I worked with them. And I said, hey, that's great. That's fine. Like, everyone's different. Do your thing. I'm just going to let you know that's ego. And that's why you'll never be successful. And you'll never be successful in the realm of like, oh, I want to make all this, because here's why. It makes sense for everybody who's like, so professional athletes, did they just like throw a ball at a wall, or did they have coaches? Oh, they had coaches. Even now, professional athletes, guess how many trainers they have? On average, 2 to 5. Trainers, coaches, nutritional people, people doing workouts, people doing skill work, people doing all the stuff. But yet, you want to be a top performer in one of the toughest industries in the world, and you've never done any of this. You don't even know up from down. You didn't even know about all the different interviews. And now you're like, well, I'm just going to wing it. And that's why it's 6 months later and you're still frustrated and haven't even had a 3rd round interview, which, just so you guys know, a 3rd round, you're not even halfway up Mount Everest yet. And so I just want to share this to you all, as if you guys really want to break in. I'm not saying it's with me, but go find somebody that can actually have proven results and help you. Because again, what most people miss is they think so short term. Well, what if I could do this for free for this month? But what if you actually invested in yourself, and for the next 2, 3, 5 years, the rest of your life, you just returned it all the time? And that's why most people don't win, because they think in terms of hours, days, and maybe weeks. And what real professionals and what real people who are successful do thinks of months and years and decades, and if that's investment's worth it. And so that's why I would just encourage you guys, because many of you right now don't know where to start, don't know where to go. We tell you what to do. We literally tell you, go reach out to these people. And then you're like, but what do I say? And then I tell you what to say, but then you're like, okay, I get on a call, but what do I do now? That's the toughest part. I can tell you, hey, you want to go ride your bike? Go pedal. Well, how do I go pedal? You move your feet while you're holding yourself. Well, how do I balance? Okay, well, there's so much that goes into it. And so I would just want to encourage you guys, do your research, talk to people, but just because someone's in med device sales, just don't take all their words for it. Because again, going back to, I say this all the time, and you have probably experienced it for yourself at this point, talk to 10 reps, get 10 different pieces of advice. And the most common will be, oh, just apply. Or just let me know if I can help you, and then they ghost you. Just want to encourage you guys, if you really want to break into medical device sales at over 6 figures, become the person you have to be to make 6 figures, and know about the other opportunities so you have the confidence to know that it's possible. And hopefully this podcast was helpful to just shed some light of how like companies are actually thinking and some of the other opportunities. So you actually know that there are positions out there that pay this much, but just hear me. And how I will end it is, it's not common, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. Every single person listening to this right now doesn't want to be average. Everybody in med device sales who comes in doesn't want to be average. It is possible. It's not common to break into medical device sales at over $100,000. Want proof that people are breaking in at over $100,000? Check this out.